If you spend enough time online, you start to notice what I call the digital Oz effect.
Oh, yeah, like the man behind the curtain kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. You see this massive, imposing avatar on your screen. You know, a creator who just seems completely invincible. They're commanding this huge army of followers, projecting this incredible aura of like intellectual or moral superiority.
Right, and the algorithms just amplify them to the point where they feel totally omnipresent.
Yeah, but then if you actually pull back the curtain, you usually find something entirely different. You find like one guy sitting in a really messy bedroom, just scrambling to keep this fragile manufactured illusion from completely falling apart.
And that illusion, I mean, it requires a tremendous amount of daily maintenance. The minute the audience shifts their perspective even a little bit, the entire structure just completely collapses under its own weight.
And that shift in perspective is exactly what we are doing today. So welcome to a brand new deep dive. We are venturing into a very specific hyper-toxic underbelly of the web today. It's known as internet blood sports and online creator drama.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we can look at how an internet empire falls, you have to look at the foundation it is built on, right?
Yeah.
And in the blood sports subculture, that foundation is usually this extreme purist ideology.
Yeah, and Godwinson built his entire brand on being the ultimate internet purist. For years, he aggressively preached against any form of internet monetization.
That completely gets it.
Completely. He positioned himself as the moral superior to other creators. I mean, the transcripts show he heavily criticized this prominent figure named Jim simply for launching a Patreon and selling hats to his audience.
Wait, selling hats. That's it.
Just selling hats and having a Patreon, that was enough to be an enemy.
So he viewed literally any attempt to make a living off your audience as a fundamental betrayal.
Right, he called it e-begging. Godwinson's public stance was that monetization completely kills creativity. He argued that the second you take money, you lose your autonomy, you just turn into this corporate conduit.
Oh, like you start pandering to the algorithm.
Exactly. You start pushing out those artificially stretched 10-minute ad-filled videos just to game the system. He even went so far as to claim it was a societal poison.
A societal poison. That is intense.
Yeah, because he said it encouraged kids to become e-celebs instead of getting real stable jobs with, like, pensions and insurance.
Wow. I mean, on paper, it sounds almost like a noble crusade. He's positioning himself as the protector of artistic integrity. He's like it's like a digital Holden Caulfield. Right?
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Just obsessed with pointing his finger and calling everyone else phonies for making a buck. But the problem with building a brand entirely on the concept of never making money is that it creates this massive trap of audience capture.
Yep, absolutely.
If your audience only follows you because you refuse to monetize, how do you actually pay your rent when the time comes?
Well, you inevitably compromise your principles behind closed doors. That's what happens. And the transcripts from the Kino Casino hosts expose this massive structural hypocrisy in Godwinson's operation.
So he was making money.
Oh, big time. While he was preaching this anti-monetization gospel to his audience, he secretly struck a backroom deal to co-host a show with the Kino Casino guys for $2,000 a month.
Oh, wow. So he built a trap for himself, took the money in secret, and then got caught.
He accepted an initial $800 payment via PayPal. And here is where the facade literally crashes down.
How did he get out? Did someone leak it?
Sort of. One of the Kino Casino hosts admits to getting, and I'm using a direct quote from the source here, drunk as shit on vodka and cider.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And while streaming, this host accidentally doxed Godwinson. He just revealed his PayPal receipt live on air to the entire audience.
A drunken stream completely destroying years of careful brand building in just a matter of seconds. That is wild.
Yeah.
But, I want to pause and look at the underlying ethics of this community for a second.
Okay, sure.
Is it really hypocritical to just want to get paid for the content you're spending hours making? I mean, everyone needs to eat. It seems to me the actual crime here isn't making money. It's the secrecy, right? The lying to your audience.
Well, see, logically, yes. But actually, the blood sports community, the money itself is viewed as the crime. Yeah, this subculture treats any financial incentive as a literal corruption of free speech. The ultimate sin in this specific economy is losing control of your narrative.
I see.
Godwinson's entire brand equity was tied up in this illusion of being financially untethered and therefore, morally uncompromised.
Right, he was the one pure guy left.
Exactly. So when the financial opportunity knocked, that supposed moral superiority just crumbled instantly. It proves that in this hypertoxic subculture, principles are very rarely genuine beliefs.
They're just a branding exercise.
Completely. Just designed to differentiate a creator in a really crowded, noisy market.
So Godwinson could hide his financial hypocrisy in private Discord chats for a while. But it seems like his crumbling judgment eventually leaked into the public eye through the bizarre alliances he was forced to make just to keep his channel relevant.
Yeah, because when you alienate mainstream creators with extreme puritanism, you are only left with the fringe.
Exactly. Which brings us to a really chaotic side character in these transcripts, a guy who goes by Asa, the antediluvian king.
Yeah, Asa is a vital piece of this puzzle. So according to the transcripts, Asa was actually Godwinson's childhood internet hero.
Oh, wow, his hero.
Yeah, he was this older creator who built a modest following years ago by, quote, reviewing reviewers.
So like meta commentary, judging the people who were judging the content.
Precisely. But the Kino Casino hosts gleefully dissect Asa's recent, baffling life choices, which Godwinson inexplicably decided to defend.
And these life choices represent a complete psychological pivot.
A massive pivot. Asa apparently played a furry-themed RPG Maker game called Major Minor.
Okay.
And according to the transcripts, this triggered a sort of awakening for him. He decided to pivot his entire life and online persona into the furry fandom.
Wait, moving from edgy meta-internet commentary to the furry fandom? That is a massive feat.
It's wilder. The transcripts detail that it goes far beyond just an online rebrand.
Okay, brace me.
The transcripts recount Asa's own self-published, highly traumatic video confession about a trip he took. He actually brought his wife, who, by the way, is frequently insulted in the source material as Slattery and his young children, to an explicit furry convention called BLFC 2021.
He brought his young kids to an explicit convention. It's like purposefully wandering into a notoriously hazardous industrial site in your pajamas and then aggressively complaining to the management that you got a chemical burn.
That's a great way to put it. The lack of self-preservation is staggering. And the trip was an unmitigated disaster.
I can imagine.
Asa claims in his own video that he was sexually harassed, and he uses the specific term mounted by a furry who went by the name Rando.
Wow. And again, we were adhering strictly to the source material here to analyze the psychological breaking point of this community, and the details only get more extreme.
They do. Essa also claimed he witnessed convention attendees engaging in a massive group circle jerk over a cum pizza in a hotel hallway.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently 19 different men participated in this, and then they left the box for the hotel staff.
That is beyond words.
The psychological toll on Asa was immense. He states he couldn't sleep for 40 hours straight due to sheer anxiety. He was terrified that this guy Rando was going to break into his hotel room.
40 hours. He must have been hallucinating by that point.
Probably. He tried to bury his worries by gambling in the casino, lost a significant amount of money, and eventually the anxiety just broke him entirely.
He fled the hotel in the dark, didn't
He
he?
did. He packed his bags while his friend slept, ran to the Reno airport in his flip-flops at 3:15 in the morning, and begged the check-in lady to put him on a 6:15 a.m. flight.
In his flip-flops.
Yep. He paid exorbitant last-minute fees just to escape the convention.
You know, the fascinating part to me isn't even Asa's terrible vacation. It's that Godwinson the purist, the guy who acts like he's on Mount Olympus judging the morality of the whole internet he chose to vigorously defend Asa and ally himself with him after this public confession.
And that defense strips away the final layer of Godwinson's facade. Because these internet blood sports commentators build entire careers brutally judging the morality of others.
Right.
I mean, the transcripts mention them relentlessly attacking another creator named Nick Ricotta, specifically targeting his wife and family.
Oh, so they'll go after someone else's family, but their own camp is immune.
Exactly. Yet they themselves live these chaotic, completely indefensible lives. You cannot claim to be the ultimate moral arbiter of the internet while aligning with someone who willingly brings their young children into an environment with a hallway cum pizza.
No, you really can't. It entirely exposes the hypocrisy at the core of the drama.
Absolutely.
And, you know, this constant demand to be the smartest, most brutal commentator online, it creates an impossible production schedule. Looking at the sheer volume of his output, there is no way one guy sitting in his bedroom is finding all these clips, formulating these arguments, and coordinating these attacks organically. It feels heavily orchestrated.
Oh, it was highly orchestrated. The illusion of the lone, witty internet genius is completely shattered by the reality of the writer's room.
Wait, a literal writer's room.
Yes. According to the Keno Casino hosts, Godwinson carried a very elite attitude, supposedly backed by a trust fund. But he was actually incredibly lazy. He didn't even know how to use basic streaming software like OBS.
So he outsourced the outrage.
He completely outsourced it. He relied on a covert Discord writers' room. This room was staffed by other internet figures with names like Persip, Squire, and Brian Dunn.
So they were just sitting there feeding him lines.
Yeah, these individuals would sit in a voice chat for 6 hours a day doing all the heavy lifting. They compiled the drama, they clipped the videos, formulated the arguments, and essentially fed Godwinson his talking points line by line.
That is just, it's the corporatization of internet hate.
It really is.
It's like discovering your favorite punk rock. Anti-establishment frontman actually uses a team of corporate ghostwriters from a PR firm to write his lyrics. It completely invalidates the authenticity of the anger.
Exactly. And this outsourced outrage machine eventually catastrophically backfired on them.
How so?
It happened during an attempted takedown stream of a creator named Flemco. The writer's room had spent hours compiling a massive drive of supposed evidence. Godwinson and his Keno Casino co-hosts lured Flamco onto a stream under the guise of, clearing his name, but they fully intended to ambush him.
But the laziness finally caught up to them.
Big time. They were so arrogant and so reliant on the writer's room doing everything that they didn't even bother to read the prep material before going live.
You're kidding. They went in blind.
Totally blind. They assumed they could simply steamroll him with their presence. But instead, Flamco completely humiliated them live on stream. They looked unprepared, foolish, and just weak.
It's like a scripted pro wrestling match where the bad guys completely forget their lines, get stage fright, and end up legitimately punching each other in the face.
That is a perfect visual.
But, doesn't the mere existence of a dedicated writer's room for internet beef prove that this entire subculture is just manufactured reality TV?
Yeah.
They pretend it's this genuine high-stakes ideological warfare, but it's really just a badly produced soap opera where the actors forgot their lines.
It absolutely proves that. It proves that these relationships aren't friendships. They are purely transactional alliances held together by mutual negativity.
Right.
And the moment that hit job on Flamco failed, the entire alliance fractured instantly. The Keno Casino host turned on Godwinson, calling him a coward, a traitor, a trust fund baby, and a piece of shit, and completely severed their ties.
Wow. So when the negativity fails to produce a win, the alliance immediately devours itself.
Instantly.
So when the transactional alliances implode and the hit jobs fail, the machinery of audience capture just slowly grinds to a halt. The internet troll doesn't usually go out in a blaze of glory. They just fade away into a really bizarre, deeply awkward obscurity.
Yeah, and the post-Fallout reality documented in the transcripts is incredibly stark.
What happened to Godwinson after they severed ties?
Well, the Keno Casino hosts relentlessly mocked his actual real-life situation. Godwinson had apparently bragged about getting a dream job working for an influential public figure.
Okay.
But according to the hosts, the reality was that he was acting as a miserable office gopher.
An office gopher?
Yeah. They claimed he was forced to make sandwiches, rub his boss's shoulders to keep him awake, and literally whistle Dixie on command.
Whistle Dixie on command. That is a massive psychological contrast.
Yeah.
You've got the tough guy, unbothered internet persona he projected to thousands versus this offline reality of extreme subservience.
Yeah, humiliated online by his former friends and miserable offline, so he supposedly retires from the internet blood sport scene.
I would too.
Yeah.
But let me guess, he couldn't stay away permanently.
Of course not. The psychological addiction to the digital avatar, to having an audience, it's just too strong. The transcripts document that Godwinson returned, but he entirely rebranded.
Rebranded how?
He abandoned the aggressive, edgy persona completely. He reappeared on a secondary channel as this highbrow, low-effort character he named Lord.
Lord. Wow. A complete retreat from the blood sports arena into something unrecognizable.
Totally unrecognizable. The content is entirely divorced from his past. The Keno Casino hosts watch his new videos in just complete disbelief.
What was he making?
Painstakingly slow unboxing videos.
Unboxing videos.
Yes. He sits there with a cat pillow in the background, opening bubble wrap with this hyper-deliberate, quote, autistic slowness to reveal a metal Bela Lugosi medallion.
It's an overcorrection. From tearing down the entire internet to sitting quietly in a room opening a fake vampire medallion.
It is, and it gets weirder. He shows off a Tails piñata from Sonic the Hedgehog. He talks about making Halloween videos for a channel called Captain Conroy.
Captain Conroy.
Yeah, it is a complete mental and creative retreat from the toxicity he used to champion.
That is just so bizarre. Is it actually sadder to be a defeated internet villain or a guy meticulously unboxing a fake vampire medallion to an audience of 0?
Well, it brings to mind a profound quote buried at the very end of the source material. One of the hosts says, if you run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Unconsciously, you will pick up their ways, their habits, their attitude about life.
The life cycle of online toxicity is a closed loop.
It feeds on itself. It alienates everyone in the real world until the creator is left completely isolated, sitting in a room with a Tails piñata, chasing the ghosts of their former digital glory.
Man, we started today by looking at the digital Oz effect, the massive avatar projecting invincibility. And that's exactly what we decoded with Godwinson and the internet blood sports subculture.
Yeah, we certainly did.
We saw the facade of moral purity shatter over a secret $800 PayPal transfer. We saw the illusion of the alpha male troll crumble in the face of a chaotic, furry convention disaster. And we saw the myth of the solo internet genius exposed by the reality of the 6-hour-a-day Discord writer's room.
It's an inevitable crash when the real world catches up to a manufactured persona.
It really is.
And, the internet records absolutely everything. As a society, we love to pull up a chair and watch the slow-motion car crashes of these online e-celebs. But as the lines between our real physical lives and our curated digital avatars continue to blur, this material leaves us with an important question.
Yeah, what's that?
What kind of digital footprint are you leaving behind? If an audience of thousands suddenly put your life, your private chats, and your financial receipts under a microscope tomorrow, could your own daily contradictions survive the scrutiny? Or would your avatar collapse under the weight of reality too?
Something to think about the next time you log on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.